But just to start things off, Matt, um, we've been focusing a lot on international events and on labor struggles, but I think it's important that we spend a little bit of time talking about the big man, Joe Biden, the president of these United States of America, who just put forward a new policy um, where he's going to be extending free school lunches for kids until June 2022. But Matt seems to have a big problem with that, looking a gift horse in the mouth over here.
Yeah, that's not exactly how I would phrase it. I'm happy with this Biden administration. Basically, what they're doing is changing these, I guess, guidelines that the USDA is in charge of in terms of how school lunches can be provided. So, do the kids have to be in schools? Who's allowed? How much reimbursed to those schools for each lunch? And I'll just say, like, on that note, the reimbursements have been raised from $3.60 to $4.25. And I'll just say, like, that's welcome, but that still seems to my ear a little bit low, and we could probably do a little bit better than, especially since a lot of this increase going to the reimbursements is going to be caught up in things like packaging that you would need to do for like the COVID response. And I just want to play this video here. This is from the Mobile County Public Schools, and I mean, so we're only the 133rd people viewing it, but they do a good outline of how this program works, I think. And it is a very good program. And so just it's called the Seamless Summer Options, which has nothing to do with the Grubhub affiliated app in New York. This is just this is just school lunches allowing people in the community to come feed themselves, basically. Here is that video.
To prepare these meals, and they're good meals.
For today's meal, we have pork roast, turkey roast, rice and gravy, collard greens, and roll. Three in the next for y'all.
So we're excited to have launched our feeding program where children can get free meals. We're doing it a little differently, where a family can come and pick up meals on Monday for the full week. So you'll get one hot meal, and then you'll get frozen meals to last Tuesday through Friday.
Oh, I think this is a good program for the kids that, don't have what they need at home. So yeah, I think this is a good idea for those kids.
We're really proud of our cafeteria workers. They've been working really hard to prepare these meals, and they're good meals.
For today's meal, we have pork roast, turkey roast, rice and gravy, collard greens, and roll. And then we have all the rest of the meals for the other 4 days. And the parents said thank you so much. They really appreciate it.
Thank y'all so much. Y'all. I really appreciate it.
My kids go to this school. And my friend told me they were starting today, so I was like, well, I might as well just stop by while I was in the area and pick up some stuff for them.
So I think the importance of this is, like, one, it shows that we could have been doing this for ever. This is just a choice. We haven't been doing this in schools.
Parents, if you have a child who will...
Sorry about that. And I'll also say the Trump administration started this, and it wasn't because, as we're going to allude to, they were pushed left. It's because this is the state of the state. The state right now, the state of the country is dire, and it cannot ignore these problems anymore. So these are COVID relief measures. So that, like that, and I'll say I put my tweet up at the beginning. It was a dashed off quote tweet saying "make it permanent" because obviously we should. It's got like over 1,000 retweets, almost 10,000 likes. It's gone viral in a way that, like, I was not expecting when I mindlessly, like, dashed it off, because this is clearly a serious problem that people feel that, and we've been basically abusing kids in this country by making them go to school with not enough food in their stomachs, and it needs to be continued. And it's just interesting the way you hear, like, Vilsack and the ag department talk about the win-win, and there's 12 million kids going hungry. Well, what about the kids before the pandemic that were going hungry, right? Nonetheless, like, I love the image of people going to a school if they want a meal and just picking one up. That's something we can do in any community we want for everybody who's hungry, and it should be continued after the pandemic. And I don't know what the process to make it permanent, but it's within the Democrats' hands right now, and it's a choice if they don't.
And I think that's the point to make, is that it's a choice to not continue these programs and to not make them permanent. We've always had the ability to do these things. They just haven't been doing them.
Right. And like right now is no special gift because schools need to start preparing for next school year. So all this really does is extend it through the next school year so schools can get that planning underway. It's not so like it is really still, we're still in the emergency measure. Nothing's been granted that isn't based on this state of this like emergency period we're in.
Yeah, and in this country, right? It's so amazing, and we'll talk in the post game about Cuba a little bit more in depth. But it's so amazing to see people like Trump and even people like Biden rail about a country like Cuba, a country that is faced with extreme poverty. There's no doubt about that. The reasons for that are fairly clear. That the United States has been forcing an ongoing blockade. That now, even with this more left president, they're still wanting to continue and still not going to remove Cuba from the state sponsors of terrorism list. These are things that
just to duck in there, I think that's for their relationship with Venezuela, which is like, think about any petty ass complaint you hear about guilty by association from the right. Like, we're literally putting countries on a bullshit list of state-sponsored terror because they happen to have allies in an area of the world.
And this is a country that is still very friendly to Saudi Arabia and the apartheid state in Israel, right? Like people or countries that actually enact terror against members of their own society. And like when it comes to free school lunches, this is something that's very important to me. Like, I am a beneficiary of that program. It meant that every day I got to have a full meal. It was something that, I'm a big guy. I needed a lot of food, and, it wasn't always as accessible as it, at home because of, the difficulties of, raising children in this society, and all those ridiculous. America is one of the most insane countries in the way that it treats poor people and particularly young families. But all of this, is just to get to this point. They've always had the ability to do this, but this pandemic and this shift that we're seeing is making the state act very differently. And when we're trying to understand what the Biden administration is, so that we can build popular movements that can, break from that and to build something very different, to build a socialist future, we have to understand why the Biden administration is doing what it is.